Stormgate patch 0.5 is upon us, and it brings with us a plethora of big changes, and today we're going to do a side-by-side comparison of all of the things between 0.4 and 0.5. One of the biggest changes is that involving the addition of Stormgates into Stormgate. I'm not going to go into detail about that today. Instead, I'm going to recommend you go to one of these videos. I know that there's a couple out there, and watch those because they go into it a lot more detail than I will in this video, but I will mention it here. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So we'll start, as we always do, with the general changes. Top bars have been removed and most of their abilities have been shifted onto main buildings. I'll go into those in the race specific ones, but a couple have been removed. Creep camps are dead. They have been removed from the game and instead replaced by Stormgates. I'm not going to go into much detail about Stormgates, but all you need to know is that they are central points on the map which can be attacked and captured, and once captured they will give you a reward. Another additional quality of life change is the addition of move line drag to order units, which can be used to draw such lovely things as hearts, and definitely nothing inappropriate. Alright, moving on to the Vanguard faction. Vanguard actually got the smallest amount of changes, so it's not very long this time. All factions got their starter worker count reduced. Vanguard got its starter work count reduced from 10 down to 7. As mentioned earlier, all of the top bar abilities have now moved onto the main command post now. All abilities' energy cost has been increased from whatever it was before to 50. Servo Overcharge now increases the movement speed of servos by 50% in addition to all the effects it gave before. This ability shares a cooldown with all other structures with the same ability. Sensor Drone now unlocks when you reach tier 2 of the main base. This ability does not share a cooldown with other structures with this ability. And finally, at tier 3 you unlock Promote. This ability also does not share a cooldown with other structures with this ability. Shields Up has effectively been removed or shifted onto the Rampart depending on how you see it. Speaking of, Rampart, the upgrade to the habitat, Reinforce ability can now target and shield units. As this ability can now target units and structures, it now has a bonus effect when it's used on buildings, giving them 100 bonus armor, which just gives them an absolute shit ton of extra health. And finally, the only unit change for Vanguard in this patch, the Hornet. The Hornet's anti-ground damage has been decreased from 7 to 6. Alright, Infernals, it's time for the nerfs, and I'll be fully honest with you, even as an Infernal player, I don't understand how we didn't get nerfed as much as I expected us to. Let's get into it. Similar to the Vanguard, they had their starting worker count reduced from 10 down to 7, and top bar abilities are now all on the Shrine. Nightfall Infestation has been removed. Summon Effigy's energy cost has been increased from 10 to 25, and the max health of Effigy's off-shroud has been decreased from 100 down to 50. Hellspawn Resurgence has had its cost upped from 50 energy to 75, and Shadowfall, which is unlocked at tier 3, now has an additional effect which decreases enemy unit vision by 60%. The Shroud Stone now has a beautiful new art. Look at him go! Shroud Stones can no longer be upgraded to a Wraith Stone, which is sad for that one Wraith Stone fan. It was me. I was the Wraith Stone fan. Its damage has been increased from 27 to 40, but its weapon period, the time in between each attack, has been increased from 1.2 up to 1.8. Brutes have somehow maintained their stun on a tier 1 unit, but you know, sure, whatever. In return, their unit cost has been increased from 125 Luminite to 150, and Infernal Fury's bonus attack speed on Shroud has been decreased from 50% to 25%. Gaunt's Reaper Rush research time has been decreased from 90 seconds down to 60 seconds. Hellborns can no longer attack air units, again. And the Flayed Dragon has seen a series of nerfs. Flayed Dragon's health has been decreased from 900 to 700. Its health regeneration on Shroud has been decreased from 9 health per second to 7 health per second. And Flayed Dragons are no longer resilient and can be affected by stuns, snares, and mind control. And finally, on to the Celestials. Now there was a little note in the patch that said they'll be turning their attention to the Celestial faction with a full design pass being underway, with focus on reducing mechanical confusion while preserving their identity as a highly mobile and adaptable faction. However, this won't be coming until the next patch, so most of the patch notes today are just minor tweaks to numbers. As with every other faction, they've had their starter worker count decreased from 2 down to 1. The Archship's Cascade Field Radius has been increased from 8 up to 10, and all surge bonuses have been removed as the surge mechanic has been reworked. Power Surge has now been reworked into a new ability. It now targets one of your structures, granting it 150% production speed, 100% increased movement speed, and 10 bonus health and energy regeneration for 15 seconds. Afterwards, it's then inflicted with Overload, reducing its production and movement speed by 75% for 15 seconds. Sovereign's Watch now charges a nearby collection array rather than any structure near a collection array. It no longer has 2 charges, and it now shares a cooldown with all other structures with this ability. Finally, Zenith Scan's energy cost has been increased from 25 to 50, and no longer has 2 charges, and no longer has a cooldown. Prism's maximum charge count has been increased from 1 to 2. The ability that killed a creep camp has obviously been removed, and the other 2 abilities Purify and Summon Aeon Gate are now on the Arc Fortress. As a consequence of this, the Fate's End ability has been removed. Purify has had its energy cost increased from 30 to 50, and instead of it having a 120 second charge up time, it now has a cooldown of 30 seconds. Purify also no longer has 2 charges. Finally, Arc Fortresses have also gained the ability to summon Aeon Gates, which have an energy cost increased from 0 to 50. Power Banks have had their cost decreased from 125 to 100 Luminite. They can also no longer provide power to other buildings, including the Arc Fortress and Arc Ship. All of its turrets are now detectors. And onto the actual unit changes. Argents have seen the biggest set of changes. Something that's actually missing from the patch notes is that they've had their health decreased from 165 down to 145. They no longer have their photocapacitors traits or upgrades. The maximum energy has been increased back up to 50, but they now start at 0 energy. Their high energy attack cost has been increased from 5 to 50. Their high energy now increases the damage of Argent's attacks by 300% rather than the 50% that it originally was. Argents have gained a new ability called Heaven Step, which dashes a short distance towards the target location, and they've also gained a new trait, Harmonic Exchange. Argents now do not naturally regenerate energy, instead they regenerate energy for each 4 damage they deal or take. Vectors have seen their anti-ground damage increased from 8 plus 2 versus light to 8 plus 3 versus light. And finally, Seraphims that had an ability that dealt bonus damage to creeps now deals bonus damage to Stormgates instead, and that condemnation bonus damage has been increased from 300% up to 400%. And that is everything for this patch of Stormgate. Obviously the big plethora of changes involving the Stormgates and stuff I haven't gone over in this, so please check out one of the videos I linked earlier. Also, we've just had news they've released the first version of the terrain editor, which is very exciting. But yes, I hope this has been useful to you. As always, my name has been Vandanity, and I will catch you all next time. Bye!